In the silence of forgotten alleys, a boy named Jorge Mario Bergoglio once walked with a heart too big for his shoes. Before he was Pope Francis, he was just a boy, quiet, thoughtful, and already familiar with the ache of sorrow. Argentina, in the 1940s, was a place of division and longing, and Jorge carried those shadows with him. This is not just the story of a pope. This is the story of a heart that broke for the world. His parents fled fascism in Italy, searching for peace but finding hardship. Jorge grew up watching his father work tirelessly, while his mother, once vibrant, became paralyzed by illness. He often sat beside her bed, praying for strength he didn't understand. It was here, in his mother's silence, that he first met the weight of helplessness. At 21, Jorge collapsed with a grave lung infection. Surgeons removed part of his lung. His life hung by a thread. Alone in the sterile hospital air, he thought of death, not with fear, but with a strange, aching peace. He later said, "That's when I learned that pain purifies."
After recovery, Jorge walked into a church on a rainy afternoon. The air smelled of candles and tears. In that sacred hush, he heard not thunder or voices, but the whisper of destiny. He decided to give his life to others, especially the forgotten. As Father Bergoglio, he never wore fancy robes. He rode the bus with the poor, shared bread with beggars, and wept with mothers who had lost their sons. He called them his family. The streets, not the Vatican, were his sanctuary. When his name was called, he wept. Not for joy, but for the burden ahead. He chose the name Francis, not after a king, but a beggar who loved the poor. He was the first pope from the global south, and he knew the world was aching. He visits war zones, not palaces. He kisses the feet of refugees, not the rings of rulers. Every child without a home reminds him of Christ. He says, "We must cry. The world has forgotten how to cry."
Though millions know his name, Pope Francis often walks alone. The papal rooms echo with silence. He misses Buenos Aires, the coffee with old friends, the noise of slums. In quiet moments, he wonders if he's done enough for the broken-hearted. He knows death is near. He speaks of it not with fear, but with longing. "I am just a sinner," he says, "on a journey." And he hopes that when he leaves, the world will love just a little more.
In a place where no one feels holy, he kneels. He washes the feet of murderers, thieves, and the forgotten. And when they cry, he does not look away. He wipes their tears with his hands. To love those who have caused pain, that is a love too deep for most to understand. He walks among ruins, not to be seen, but to witness. In homes reduced to dust, he hears stories of sons lost, mothers buried under stones, fathers never found. And when a child asks, "Why did God let this happen?" he does not answer. He just holds them, as if his silence could carry their sorrow. Most people step back when they see suffering. Pope Francis steps forward. When he embraced a man covered in sores, the world gasped. But Francis saw Christ in that man's scars, and he held him like a lost brother. He has walked among the powerful, but he finds more truth in the broken. He sits quietly now, not because he has no words, but because grief speaks in silence. And through that silence, the world begins to listen. Their voices echo through his soul. The father who lost his son to bombs, the girl who never had a home, the prisoner who found hope in a pope's touch. He listens to them all, and when he prays, it is not for himself, but for us. He once said, "Hope is stubborn. It flies even when the world is on fire." And like the dove in his hands, Francis releases that hope into the air, not knowing if it will return. But still, he lets it go, again and again. On April 21st, 2025, the world fell silent. Pope Francis, the shepherd who walked with the wounded, took his final breath. He is gone, but not lost. His legacy lives in every tear he wiped away, every prisoner he forgave, every child he held. In death, as in life, he reminds us, the true measure of faith is how deeply we feel for others.